As we have completed with this model 6, that was the G+4 story building. We have seen the complete defining, modeling, assigning, then the analysis and designing part on the gravity as per the gravity load. That was basically the section 7. Now we will start with this section 8, in which we will see for this advanced part on this G+4 story building, the same building that we will see some advanced part. And in this model 6 till now we have seen that it has been completed with the designing part also, means based on the earthquake analysis, means based on the gravity analysis, we have completed this part, and it has been verified, means it has been confirmed that it is safe. Okay, that problems were coming, like it was the failing the beam and the column, so we have been adjusted it. Okay, now let's start with this section 8, where we are going to see for this advanced part on this G+4 story building, in which we are going to see the 8 steps, means the 8 different parts here. Basically this comes under the advanced part. That is, the first of all we will see for the introduction to the lateral loads, what are the lateral loads, and we will see some of its theory. Then after we are going to see for the theory of the earthquake, and then we will see for how to define the earthquake loads as per the Indian standard IS 1893/2016. Then we will see for the how to define the diaphragm, how to assign the diaphragm. Then we will see for the how to define the wind loads, which are basically as per the IS 875 part 3 2015. And then after we will see for the how to define the load combination as per the earthquake loads, means earthquake and the wind loads. Okay, for the gravity loads the load combination were different. For this earthquake and the wind, the load combination will be different. So we will see how this load combination are being defined, and then after we will see for the how to define the mass source. Basically this concept, this part of the section 8 comes under this advanced part. I was going to take for this intermediate course till here only, model 6, where we will be seeing only for this gravity loads, and over which we have been done what we done that completely done this modeling, analysis and design on different buildings, 6 different buildings, and your concept are now been completely cleared with different types of the concept we have taken here. Like in every section we have completed this part. Okay, this part is only for the introduction to this advanced part, like the earthquake analysis and the further earthquake parts. Okay, so it will be a complete basic part from now. Okay, and it will be a theory part, so you will be understood how it actually works. Okay, so let's get started here with this section 8, and with the first part here is the introduction to the lateral loads. Okay, after this section 8 we will be conclude here and see that the earthquake perspective, means what are the future, what you should learn, and what should you do further after completing this course. Okay, till here only that it matters, right? Then after we will now start with this introduction to lateral load theory. Introduction to lateral loads. This is the foundation of the earthquake and the wind analysis in ETABS. So let's get started. What are the lateral loads? Before we go, we open ETABS, before we apply the earthquake loads, we must understand one basic truth. That is, a building is not only pushed downward, it is also pushed sideways. Okay, there are basically 2 types of the loads been act on a building, that are generally a vertical load, that is the gravity load, and the lateral load, that is the horizontal load acting on a building. Okay, so what's the lateral load? Vertical load, that is the gravity load, which are basically we have seen till now in this all the 6 models. We have seen for this gravity loads, that are the vertical loads, that is the dead load and the live load. This acts downward due to the gravity. They try to compress the structure. Okay, and then after the second type of the load is that we are going to see now, that is the lateral load. These are the horizontal forces acting on a structure. These examples basically of this lateral loads are the earthquake and the wind. These are the 2 examples of this lateral loads acting on a building, that are earthquake and wind. Vertical load push the structure down, lateral load push the structure sideways. Okay, and this sideway action changes everything in the structure behavior. Now let's see the main difference between vertical and the lateral load using some tool here. I will just take an rectangle with, I will just change its color. Okay, let's say I have taken this color. Okay, let's imagine this is your building. Okay, and I will just take a pen here to show you some deflection of it. and show the position of the where it actually acts. So I have taken here a building. This is the building, this is the ground, and these are its sides. This is the top side, this is the sideways sides. Okay. So there are two types of the loads acting, that is the vertical loads and the lateral loads. Vertical loads are basically the gravity loads, and the lateral loads are basically the horizontal loads. In the vertical loads, what comes? The dead load, live load, all this concept of the gravity loads comes, and in the lateral loads, earthquake and wind comes. Okay. Now let's see on this building how this two acts. Okay. I will just reduce it. Okay. So this is our building. This is our building, and over it we are going to see two types of the loads. So the first type we are going to see is whatever we have seen till now on the 6 models, that is the vertical load or the gravity load. So this vertical load acts on the building from the above. Okay, these are basically the vertical loads which are acting in the vertical direction or the gravity direction. This is the complete building, and this is where the loading acts. Okay, I will just move it above. Okay, here you can see that is the vertical load or the gravity load. Basically in it what comes, in it comes the dead load, live load. Okay, and the second type of the load, that is the basically the lateral load. This lateral load actually acts in the this direction, means in the horizontal direction on this building. Means it will act in this direction, means this is the horizontal direction, it will act in this way. That is called as the horizontal direction, or it is called as the lateral loads. Okay, and this dead load, live load are called as the gravity load, and this earthquake and this wind load are called as the lateral load. As you see here how it actually works. Okay, now we will see for the further detail that vertical load acts downward, and lateral load acts horizontal. Okay, why earthquake and the wind loads are extremely important. Now let's understand this very clearly, that most buildings don't fail because of the gravity, because gravity loads are very much less. They failed because they cannot resist the sideway movement. Sideway movement means that the lateral loads or the earthquake and wind are the sideway movement. Okay, that cause the sideway movement. There are basically 4 reasons we are going to see why earthquake and the wind loads are extremely important. That is, the reason 1 is they cause the movement. Reason 2 is they cause the governs the member size. Then the third reason is they create the instability, and the fourth reason is the Indian seismic risk. So let's start with this reason 1. They cause the movement. Earthquake. So let's start with this first step, that is the reason 1, that is they cause movement. We will see for the earthquake. Earthquake cause the ground shaking, and then the building vibrates. When the earthquake happens, ground shakes, building vibrates, and the floor move in x and y direction. Means it will just move, or it will just move. Okay, then after, in this wind, what this cause? Wind cause movement, like wind pressure pushes one side of the building bends, tall building sways. What is the meaning of this sway? As you see here, what happens? This is the building, right? This is where the building will sway like this. Okay, here you can see that this movement is called as swaying. Okay, it will move here, then move here, and regain to its original position. It is called as swaying, means moving side by side. Too much movement causes the cracks, occupant discomfort, and the structural damage and the collapse in the extreme cases. Then the reason 2, they governs the member sizes. In the low-rise buildings, gravity loads may control, but in the mid-rise and the tall buildings, column, beam, shear wall, and the core walls are mostly sized based on the lateral load requirements, not the gravity. Means what is saying that when we are generally doing for the G+4 5-story building, we generally do it for the gravity loads. When we move above, means till 15-20 story building or 10 story 15 story building, it will cause the mid rise or the high rise building. We generally don't depend on this gravity load. Gravity load is one different phenomena, and this lateral load, this earthquake load, it's a different phenomena, right? So for this high-rise, mid-rise buildings, we generally do for the lateral load requirements. Okay, based on the lateral load requirements. Even if the dead load and the live load are small, earthquake or the wind often governs the design. This is the major concept. Then the reason 3, that they create the instability. Earthquake generates the base shear. let's see the what they generate, or why they create the instability. Earthquake generate the base shear, story shear, torsion, drift, this p delta effect, then the higher mode effects. Then wind generates the sideway, means the sideway movement of this. Then side by side movement, then the overturning movement, pressure variation, dynamic vibration in the tall buildings. This effect influence the entire structure, not just one beam or the slab. Reason for that is the Indian seismic risk. As per the Indian standard, that is the IS 1893 Part 1 2016, India has the seismic zones. There are basically four zones India has, that is the Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4 and Zone 5. Many major cities fall under the Zone 3, 4 and 5. I have discussed it in the next part here of the theory of the earthquake, over which and define the earthquake load, over which we will be get much more clarified with what are the seismic zones. Okay, many major cities fall under this Zone 3, Zone 4 and Zone 5. So earthquake design is not optimal, it is mandatory. Okay, because in some regions that in the Zone 5, without a seismic analysis over the G+4 5-story building also, we have to do the this seismic analysis. Okay, over this high seismic Zone 5 regions, we cannot directly do based on this gravity load, it will directly collapse. Okay, so earthquake design is not optional, it is mandatory. And ductile detailing as per the IS 13920 is essential for to prevent the brittle failure. This is basically to what this code is basically for the safety purpose. Okay, what are the safety and what are the detail, you will see it in the advanced part. For this course it is not taken. Then the gravity loads rarely brings a building down, poor resistance to the lateral load does. Okay, then we will see for the next part, that is the difference between the vertical load and the lateral loads. Vertical loads or the gravity load, basically they are the dead load or the live load, and the lateral load or the horizontal load, basically they are called as the earthquake or the wind. uh, let's see the difference, that vertical loads acts downward, lateral loads act sideway. Vertical loads affects the slab and the beam mostly, this affects the columns and the shear walls. These vertical loads cause the bending moment and the shear. This cause the sway, drift and the torsion. These are mostly uniform. These are the dynamic and the varying. These are simple static, and we do here for the simple static analysis. Here in this lateral load, we go for the static plus the dynamic analysis. Local failure possible, global collapse possible. Now let's see the key differences. Gravity loads are predictable, lateral loads are dynamic and uncertain, that they are not predictable and they can happen anytime. That is why we need special analysis method in ETABS. Okay. Now let's start with the next part, that is the building behavior under the earthquake and the wind, how the building behaves under the earthquake and the wind. So let's simplify this concept clearly by one for the earthquake and then after for the wind. So the earthquake behavior, earthquake does not push the building directly, it shakes the ground. Because of the inertia, building tries to remain. It is trying to say that earthquake does not push the building directly. Okay, it shakes the ground, right? And after that shaking of the ground, because of the inertia generated, building tries to remain in its original position, then the ground moves and relative movement occurs. Then after what happens, inertia force develops. This causes the sway in x direction, sway in y direction, means this is the movement. Sometimes it will move in x direction, sometimes it will move in the y direction. Floor by floor displacement will occur, vibration in the multiple modes, then the torsion if asymmetric is present. Important response is generated, like the base shear, story drift, mode shape and the higher mode participation. In ETABS, we capture this using the equivalent static method and the response spectrum analysis. If you are not getting it, don't worry, it is advanced part. So I am just taking here the theory part of the basic part, so you should know how it is the behavior of the earthquake and the wind occurs. Okay, don't worry if you are not getting any part. Then the wind behavior, we will see now the how the wind behaves, the building behaves under the wind. Okay, wind applies the pressure on one side, that is the windward, and the leeward side. I have cleared that windward and leeward side in the upcoming this defined wind part. Okay, in the positive pressure, and the leeward side, that is the suction. This creates the bending in the column, shear in the beam, overall sway and overturning movement. In the tall building, what happens? Wind may cause the vibration. Humans discomfort can govern the design. Even if the structure is safe, excessive sway is unacceptable. Now let's see the last step of it, that is the important basic terms you should know before we start with this ETABS. Okay, in the advanced part, that is the lateral load, we should know this some of the concept very clearly. That is stiffness. Stiffness is equal to ability of a building to resist the deformation. Higher stiffness is equal to forms the less sway, and the lower stiffness forms the more sway. What is stiffness? Stiffness is the ability of the building to resist the deformation. Shear wall increases the stiffness significantly. Then we will see for the ductility. What is ductility? The ability to deform without sudden failure. During earthquake, we allow control the damage, but we prevent the sudden collapse. This concept is ensured by the IS 13920 2016, and ductile building bends absorb energy, do not fail suddenly. Okay. What is ductility? It is the ability to deform without the sudden failure. Okay. Then after, the story drift. What is it? Story drift or the drift is basically relative horizontal displacement of one floor with respect to the floor below. Limit as per the IS 1893 part 1 2016. Its story drift limits are being present for the earthquake. It should not be greater or equal to it should be this for the earthquake, it should not be greater or equal to 0.004 into h. H is the basically the height of the building. Okay, and or the story height. Wind is generally for 0.002 h, where h is equal to story height. Controlling drift is one of the main design objective. Then after, we'll see for the next part, that is the mode shapes. When a building vibrates during the earthquake, it does not move in only one way. It vibrates in the pattern called as the modes. Okay, it this vibration will form in the different modes format. Okay, so this mode 1 is equal to mode 1 is basically the basic sway, mode 2 is the reverse sway, mode 3 is the torsional mode. ETABS automatically calculate the natural time period, mode shapes, mass participation. Understanding the modes is critical for the tall buildings. Basic shear. Basic shear is equal to total horizontal seismic force at the base. It depends on the seismic zone factors, importance factors, response reduction factors, soil type, and the building mass. This base shear gets distributed floor by floor. This seismic zone, importance factor, response reduction factor, and the soil type, all these concepts are being present in the IS code, and it has some limits, and we will be seeing all of this concept when we will be doing here for this define the earthquake loads. Okay, now let's conclude clearly that whatever we have seen or understood, what are they? Vertical loads affect the individual element, lateral loads affect the overall stability. Earthquake and the wind cause the sways, drift, torsion, and overturning. We check the stiffness, ductility, base shear, and the drift to ensure the stability. If you understand this foundation properly for this earthquake part or this lateral loads, applying earthquake and the wind load in ETABS will become logical, not mechanical. So that was the introduction to the lateral loads. Now we will see for the theory of the earthquake, and then after we will be seeing this detail, and after this part this G+4 story till here, then we will be conclude our course. Okay, that's it. Let's meet in the theory of the earthquake.